Welcome back to Pokemon Summit, the Pokemon game where I get to play as a contender in the World Championship. If you didn't get to see part 1, the link is in the description. After taking out the evil team bosses, we get to challenge the elite bracket. In this we will need 6 Pokemon, so let's sort our team out and make it as strong as possible. Our team consists of Garchomp the Demon, Hydreigon the Beast, Swampert the Tank, Slowbro the Slowest Bro, Toxapex the Scum, and Copperajah the Green Thing. Jumping into our first battle against Lorelei, the Ice type Elite 4 member. Starting off weak sending Archeops out, I decided to change it up and set up some Toxic Spikes. All her Pokemon after that were pretty powerful. She decided to take out my Toxapex after I set up some Toxic Spikes, and it's time for Green Thing to come out. Wow, he basically sweeps all of her team, and it's time for Slowbro and Swampert to finish off her Ice types and clean up. Lorelei has been defeated. Lorelei of the Elite Four, goodbye. After stealing Lorelei's money, it's time for me to move on to Bruno, the second challenge of the Elite Four. Now luckily I've got Archeops. Archeops is a beast against fighting types. With the dual wing beat hitting twice, sturdy Pokemon are irrelevant to me, and so is Bruno's entire team. We pretty much sweep his whole team until Hitmontop. When Hitmontop comes out, he does get to damage me, and then Machamp finally finishes off Archeops, but Hydreigon comes out and finishes up. Give me your money, Bruno. Agatha. It's time for Agatha, the big beast. She has Ghost types out, and they are strong. Spiritomb almost taking out Archeops instantly. Sableye. Sableye could do so much damage to me, but I do manage to take it out with Archeops, and then Golett comes out and is ready to take me out. I'm going to send out Toxapex, get off some Toxic Spikes so I can set up and be strong in the end game when I take out this Golett, who is a tank. Hydreigon manages to take it out, Marowak comes out and gets poisoned, Gengar's out here. What can I do against Gengar? Flamethrower it to death. And Miss Magius is also dead to a Dark Pulse. Hydreigon was a beast. It's time for Lance, the Dragon type trainer of the Elite Four, who's got a very unique team, Executor, Kingdra, and several other Pokemon. I decided to send out Toxapex here. Toxapex is going to be my best option against Lance, as he is a beast of a trainer, and I'm trying not to lose in this tournament. If you guys did watch the first tournament, I lost to Claire. Now Claire is technically weaker than Lance, and Claire demolished me more than once, let's just say that. So I did not want to repeat that against Lance. Finally, he's sending out Dragonite and is sending out more Pokemon that I can take out with Toxapex quite easily. So this match does drag on just a little bit. I didn't expect him to come up with a Thunder Punch, and then I'm going to send out Swampert just to switch into that electric type move and take out Dragonite. Just about surviving with Swampert, and it's time for Altaria to get damaged also, but it does take Swampert out. I'm going to send in Archeops. Archeops is definitely my strongest Pokemon in my team, and I really love how it's carried me through this entire situation. I'm going to dual wing beat and hopefully take out Druddigon, but Druddigon does manage to tank it and take me out with Iron Head, taking itself out in the process. Tyrantrum comes out and it's time for Slowbro to work its magic. Tank some hits, but take out Tyrantrum at the same time. Give me your money, Lance. It's time for the champion of Gen 1, Blue. Blue is a beast, guys. The team that he had, I didn't really expect to come against it, but Archeops does really good work of taking out a lot of the units early game. Meaning, I've literally taken out over half of his team very easily. Executor comes out, I'm also taking it out. Archeops is a beast. He's double intimidated me just to take my Archeops down to half health. Blastoise comes out, and personally, I think now is going to be the best time to go for a dual wing beat. I know Archeops is going to die there. I just wanted to get some damage off on this Slowbro, as he can do a hell of a lot of damage to me. Hydreigon comes out, as I feel like Dark Pulse is just going to get the flinches and be able to take out Blastoise. Blue has been taken out. That is the Gen 1 Elite, guys. Over. Let's go and get some Pokemon. We got a Bastardon from the first vending machine. Now, I'm not really interested in adding him to the team. Tropius, neither am I interested in adding you to the team. You're someone that definitely needs to be worked on, and yeah, not for me personally. Aerodactyl, I believe I've already got one of you, and yours just sitting in my box. Banette, now that was something that I could have potentially added to my team. I really did think about it, but I'm going to choose to send him to the box for now. I don't know if I want to add him. Gramble would be good against them dragon type trainers, as it is a fairy type and it's quite powerful. A Lunatrix, a Pokemon that I definitely wanted to have a look at, as Contrary would be pretty broken with superpower increasing my attack. I do just tend to send it to the box just for now, because I'm not too keen on changing up my team. Let's jump into the next elite battles. Our first fight against Will. Will, the psychic type trainer, who could do so much damage to me, as I've started off with Archeops once again. Grumpig comes out. After taking out Natu, we do manage to take out the Grumpig, and Jinx, I kind of accepted the fact that I was going to die to Jinx. I'm going to send out Toxapex, going to be my best bet to take out some of these Pokemon. Bayheem. Now these guys' teams aren't restricted to what gen I'm battling them in, because there are some Elite Four members that are duplicated, like Lance, he's a champion of Gen 2, and just some other people in general are in the Elite teams. So we do manage to take them out, and they do have different teams because they're all in different gens. Koga, what have you got in store for me? Can I take you out quite easily? Crobat dies. Tentacruel dies. Archeops is a beast on the street, guys. We're ready to take down everyone. No one can stand a chance against me. Archeops sweeps Koga like there's no tomorrow. Dual Wing Beat taking out Weezing, and we do die. Unfortunately, he had a Destiny Bond up, and Dragalge comes out. I'm just going to take you out with a big boy Iron Head, and goodbye to Dragalge. Moving on to Bruno once again. We all know how the first fight went, we all know how the second fight is going to go. Bruno, you stand no chance against me at all. You are pathetic with your fighting types against my Archeops, who again is a beast on the streets. So Bruno, it's time for you to give me your money, so I can go and buy some more Pokemon and add them to the team, just so I can talk to you some more. Nope, he does manage to take out Archeops in the same position once again, and Hydreigon finishes him off. It's time for Karen, the dark type trainer. What am I going to do here? I'm going to Earthquake and hope for the best. He does get Archeops she does get Archeops really low. Haunchro comes out, instantly dies. Houndoom, same thing to you. Absol, I'm just going to go in for some big Sucker Punch, big Earthquake, and then he's only going to use Sucker Punch, so I decide to roost and heal up. Persian comes out. Turns out it was actually a Zoroark, and Persian manages to take out Archeops just about. It's time for Swampert to come out and finish Karen off. You stood no chance against me, Karen. You are weak and pathetic. It is time for me to move on to the champion of Gen 2, Lance. Have you got a more improved and better team? He's already starting off with Salamence. Now that is a threat to me. I'm going to go and send up Toxapex. Hopefully I can get something off and do some damage later on in the game. I'm going to send out Hydreigon and take out this Salamence. Salamence is really intimidating to me, and then Komomo comes out. Komomo could do so much, but Slowbro is a direct counter to it pretty much. Flygon comes out and does a big amount of damage. I'm going to send in Archeops, as I feel like Archeops is going to have the best run at this, and I miss 2 Stone Edges. Am I going to lose to Lance and have to restart again? I'm hoping I'm not. I'm going to go into Hydreigon, take out Flygon, and then keep on swapping back and forth with Flygon. Now Haxorus comes out. I do manage to take out the Haxorus and take out the Groudon. Dragonite. Is this his final Pokemon? I'm hoping so, and Rockslide manages to take it out. Lance, give me your money, and it's time to go and have a look to see if I can improve some stats. I'm going to improve Slowbro stats, as I want him to be a tank, and it's time to move on to the Gen 3 Sydney. Now I've never actually played Gen 3, so all of these bosses are going to be a complete and utter surprise to me. Do I know what they're going to have? Absolutely not. Do I know Archeops is going to be able to sweep through the entirety of him? Pretty much. I didn't expect Archeops to be this overpowered, but you can see why it came in Gen 5 and not any earlier, because it literally sweeps through the rest of the generations. Archeops is such a beast of a Pokemon, and so underrated. I think it needs more value put on it. Definitely being in Gen 5 was hard for it because Gen 5 is such amazing Pokemon. A bit like Scrafty. Scrafty's a beast. We take out Sydney, steal his money, and move on to Phoebe, who is a ghost type trainer. Dorwing Beat's going to come out and be able to take out pretty much Banette and a few more Pokemon. Sableye manages to take me out. Hydreigon comes out and I'm pretty much going to Dark Pulse through this entire team. If you guys have made it to this point in the video, it's been 10 minutes and I just want to thank you guys so much. If you haven't subscribed, please think about subscribing about now because I would appreciate that, and don't forget to hit the like button. If this hits 25 likes, I will do the biggest and baddest battles. There is a part after this I could potentially be recording. Now that would be against the ultra elite people, where they would have over leveled Pokemon and the best of the best. Moving on to the ice type elite 4 member, I don't really know what I'm going to do out here. Archeops has come out and not going to be able to do too much, but I do take out 2 Pokemon that were ice type, 3 Pokemon that was ice type. Rock Slide is putting in the work. I mean Stone Age, not Rock Slide. I'm going to send out Copperaja to go in for the Heat Crash, as they're not going to be able to do anything to Copperaja, and I'm going to be able to output the most amount of damage ever. Copperaja is a beast. Literally, he's a big boy. We have to move on to Aaron now. Aaron, what can you do? Can you beat me? I don't think you can. You got your bug types and I've got Archeops. Archeops, it's time to sweep through. Now Gen 4 was definitely the first gen where I made it to the Elite 4 and struggled because Cynthia's garchomp swept me so many times as a kid. I believe I was like 10 or 11 or something along them lines. And oh my god, I didn't expect Cynthia to be that hard to beat. I couldn't even get to the 8th gym as I didn't really go to the lakes and I didn't really understand Pokemon too much. But that shows that I'm here to get my revenge and take on this Elite 4. The Elite 4 was quite weak. It was pretty much Cynthia, because they didn't actually have many of their types, and Aaron was quite a weak trainer. Anyway, give me your money, Aaron. Let's move on to Drayden, who is the Gen 5 Drake. Okay, I feel like this is all a bit mixed up, but that's absolutely fine. Moving on to Drake, who is a Gen 5, not actually an Elite 4 member, but he's part of the Gen 5 team and he's pretty powerful. Altaria comes out, and I think I took a pause there because I wasn't expecting to fight Drake. I feel like the teams got a little bit mixed up. This is a fan-made game, just to let you guys know, so it's not going to be perfect and polished like all the others, but I really enjoyed playing it and it is a very good game. So if you guys are here, you know that it's a good game and you're enjoying watching me plow through every single Elite 4 member there is and becoming the best in the championship. So Flygon comes out and this guy is seemingly hard to beat. Did I expect to be able to beat him? At this point in time, I had high hopes, but he does have a lot more dragon type Pokemon and I've got Swampert left with under half HP. I'm going to send out Copperaja to be able to tank and take out that Durampa, and Salamence comes out. Why? Why does every dragon type trainer have a Salamence and it does big boy damage? I'm going to die here with Copperaja, but it's time to definitely send out Hydreigon and take out Salamence with Draco Meteor, sacrificing my special attack in the meantime. Geraldon comes out. Am I going to stay in? I really need to think about what I'm doing. I'm going to go into Swampert, take that Flash Cannon to the face. Swampert dies. It's time for Hydreigon to come out and Draco Meteor Geraldon to death. Drake, goodbye to you. We're now moving on to Bertha. I feel like it got a little bit mixed up there. Drake, you wasn't meant to be fighting me just then. Let's move on to Bertha, who again is part of the Gen 4 Elite 4, and she has some scary ground type Pokemon that can do a hell of a lot of damage. Rhyperior being one of them, tanking my hit and managing to take me out. I'm going to send out Toxapex. Toxapex's definitely going to be my best bet against most of these Pokemon, even though they could earthquake me to death pretty instantly. So Toxapex is down. Swampert, it's time for you to start liquidation their Pokemon to death. Mamoswine comes out and does some big boy damage, but I managed to take it out. Now my favourite Pokemon of all time, Gliscor. I didn't really want to take it out as I love Gliscor and I really want one on my team. It would be replacing anyone and everyone, I don't care. Gliscor is my favourite Pokemon and it will stay that way forever and ever. Flygon comes out. It's time to take this Flygon out with not Swampert. Swampert dies to an Uproar. Let's go straight into Hydreigon and take out Flygon. Are you going to stand a chance against me, Flygon? No, you are not. Bertha, you are down. Give me your money. Let's move on to Steven, who is the Gen 3 Championship. I feel like the clips may have got a little bit modelled up in this editing. It is a 50-minute video, guys, so please bear with me. I'm getting better at editing. I'm learning step-by-step processes, and I will get there in the end. Steven is a real beast and someone to be feared from. I'm going to send out Toxapex, hopefully set up and get the best start I possibly can. This video is made up of over 100 clips. This is a big boy video. Now, it did take me a long time to edit it. It was officially 12 hours content that I've edited down to less than 50 minutes. So please appreciate the amount of time and effort I put into this. But I do manage to take out a lot of Steven's Pokemon, with Hydreigon being the Flamethrower and Dark Pulse mixture. Really worked well against Steven and we managed to take him out. We finally earned some money, so Steven, give me more money. Moving on to Flint, the Fire type Elite Four trainer who didn't have many Fire types in the actual game. Let's see what his team consists of in this. Rapidash, again something he had in the Gen 4 games, I'm going to sweep instantly. Magmortar, something he didn't have but really should have had, and I managed to take that out. Houndoom, another Pokemon he should have added into Gen 4. Infernape was a Pokemon he had that could do a lot of damage. Is it going to be able to do much to me? I don't think so. Flareon also gets taken out. Infernape comes back out and goodbye to Infernape. Moving on to Centiskorch. Now obviously this Pokemon wasn't made in Gen 4, so I didn't expect it to be there. But it was a nice addition to Flint's team and it really suited his playstyle. Centiskorch does take out Archeops though. I'm going to send in Hydreigon and manage to take out this Centiskorch, and we have beaten Flint. Give me your money, Flint. Moving on to Lucian, the Psychic type trainer who is scary. Bronzong in this generation was a tank. Now, unless you picked the Fire starter, there wasn't much you could do to it. It had Levitate, it was a Psychic Steel type with a lot of HP. And as I said, there wasn't many Fire types, so if you didn't pick the starter, you were screwed. I finally managed to take him out and move on to Mr. Mime Dark Pulse, but Mr. Mime Sucker Punches me to death. I'm going to send in Metagross as I've replaced Copperaja with Metagross, as I think it'll be just that little bit stronger for my team. Not as tanky, but a little bit stronger. I managed to get this Espeon to about half health and take it out with Meteor Mash, and Gallade comes out. Gallade, I'm going to Toxic you because you can do big boy damage to my team and I don't want to be swept by you. They have their own Metagross, so I'm just going to go in for some Earthquakes. I do die to their Metagross and it's time for Swampert to come out and clean up. Lucian, you was a good battle, but not good enough. Starmie is your final Pokemon and I'm going to take that out with Earthquake. Moving on from Lucian, we have to fight Cynthia, the biggest threat in this entire battle, I believe. Now, Cynthia is a scary person to fight. Always doing immense amount of damage, definitely with a hacked Pokemon. That Garchomp definitely had 39 IVs in every single situation. Milotic takes out Archeops, which was possibly my best bet. Toxapex, I'm going to send you out, get off some Toxics, set up some Toxic Spikes and see what we can do here, because I don't really fancy fighting Cynthia without a setup. I'm no longer a 10-year-old kid, Cynthia. I know how to play the game and I know how to beat you. Roserade eats up my Toxic Spikes. Yep, I've already thrown everything out the window. Cynthia, you can beat me. I managed to burn the Roserade, which was really nice as I couldn't poison it, being a grass and poison type it is. I'm going to send out Hydreigon, so I have that Flamethrower and Dark Pulse option while you use Growth. I do decide to stay in and use Flamethrower, managing to take out Roserade. Togekiss comes out. Now that's scary.
That's a flying fairy type that used Sweet Kiss, so I was sitting in a decent position, still had my Hydreigon. This Togekiss kept on using Life Dew and healing up. Was I a fan of it? No. But I managed to poison it and take it out. Garchomp, the big beast of Cynthia's team. Am I going to be able to take it out? Am I going to be able to take it out without it taking me out? I have no idea at this current point in time. It does Dragon Rush me and then misses. I take out Garchomp with Slowbro, and we have beaten champion Cynthia. Give me your money. It's time to move on to the Unova bracket. Moving into the first battle, we're going to have to fight Shintai, who is the Ghost type battle. Now, Gen 5 was my favourite gen of all time. I was young enough to play through it as a kid, but old enough to understand it and realise how much of an amazing game it is. Now, this Elite Four was no joke. They had the Fighting type, the Dark type, the Psychic type, and the Ghost type, along with the champion either being Iris or Alda, depending on what game you brought. Alda wasn't an easy champion, and neither was Iris. We do manage to take out a lot of this team. Being that Mimikyu wasn't in the base game, if she did have a Mimikyu, I probably would have had to fight her 10 more times. There were some times where I would struggle against the Fighting type, and then sometimes I would struggle against the Dark type, Psychic, and then the Ghost type. I struggled against every single one of them because I would alter my team to take out one and then die to the other, which was quite unfortunate and something that you learn a lot in Pokemon. You need to have a well covered team, not just one Pokemon that's over leveled. I mean, you can do that in the base game, but you shouldn't do that. Not when you're trying to enjoy it, and not just sweep through it with your starter Pokemon that is level 90 against the Elite Four. I've only experienced that once, and that was in Sword and Shield. They made them raids too appealing to the point where before I fought Leon, my score bunny was a level 98, which is stupid to have a level that high against the Elite Four, and I think they should have really balanced their game more. Sword and Shield was a phenomenal game. I just thought it was a little bit too easy if you appeal to actually play the game. Marshall has been taken down, and it's time for the Dark type, Grimsley. Grimsley has appeared in several games since. I feel like he could come back as another Elite Four or the 8th gym battle. He's got such a good character to play a part of, and I really enjoy seeing him in them little bits. Like, he came back in Gen 6 to give you Dive, I believe, or in a different gen. And I just feel like you need to see a little bit more of him, and I do want to see him back because he was a really cool character that you didn't get to see enough of. Moving on, we see his Liepard. Toxapex pretty much sweeps his entire team with poison because I wanted to cheese him, as once again he's a scary battle to fight. Bishop comes out, I take you out. Tyranitar. If you had this in the Gen 5 games, I wouldn't have been able to beat you. Definitely not. Tyranitar is a beast on the streets and takes out Hydreigon. It's time for Archeops to come in, Earthquake, and clean up. Grimsley, it's time for you to give me your money. Let's move on to Caitlyn, the sleepy Elite Four trainer who uses Psychic types. Now, starting off with Marshana, which is a big tank, I managed to take it out. Oranguru, which wasn't in the base games, but a nice addition to her team as she's always sleeping. Oranguru's, he reminds me of someone that sleep all day. And Gothitelle, who was in her team, that actually has a lot of special attack, and I didn't realise how powerful Gothitelle can be. Indeedee and Uniclus stand no chance against Hydreigon, not when I've got Dark Pulse on him. He was a pseudo legendary Gen 5, and I did expect a sweep. Iris, the champion. What team do you have? Starting off with Hydreigon, boy, I was scared. Archeops manages to clutch out and take it out with the Aggron. Also, Lapras comes out, which I somehow take up with Rock Slide, get a critical hit and get lucky. Druddigon comes out. I'm going to take you out with Hydreigon. I'm feeling confident. She has her own Archeops. Luckily, I get it to half health before it starts doing some big boy damage, because Archeops' ability, when it's half health, it is weak. So we managed to take out the Gen 5 Elite Four and Champion. It's time for me to improve some stats of my Pokemon. Slowbro, I thought I already did this bit. maybe I didn't have enough money, but I thought about it. Let's see what Team Rocket can offer me now that they're in here. I'm not too interested in buying anything, and there's actually nothing else to really do here. I'm going to go and spend all my money to see what Pokemon I can get. Floatzel, that's a Pokemon I would add to my team, definitely, if it can get Wave Crush in this game. A Rangru, which I just fought against Caitlyn, it's kind of weak, not one to add to the team. Dragalge could be fun if I didn't have Hydreigon, but I do have my Dragon type. Clefable, definitely something to think about, as I do want a Fairy type in my team, but I'm not too sure. And Obstagoon, one of my favourite Pokemon, especially if it's got the ability Guts, it can do big boy damage. Crabominable, you get sent to the box, as I was never a fan of you. You was overhyped and undervalued. It's time to take on Kalos. Now the first Elite Four member we're going to have to fight is scary, Malva. Now Kalos was a very easy game as well, especially because you can Mega in literally every battle. She's starting off with Torkoal. I don't really know what to do against her team, as it's quite a mixture, and she has a Shell Smash Torkoal, which luckily still is not faster than my Archeop, so I do take it out. Pyroar is here. Once again, quite weak to ground type moves. I'm just going to try and sweep through her entire team with Earthquake and not lose any HP with Archeops, because the second I get under half HP, it's game over for Archeops, and you may as well switch out or take the L. Salandit is a really cool Pokemon and should have been implemented, I believe, in Gen 5. I feel like it would have complemented near the end game, like the opposite to Vullaby, because Mandibuzz is a strong Pokemon. I just feel like we needed a more offensive Pokemon in that point in the game, as a lot of Gen 5 is tanky. Let's go on to Cybold, who is the water type trainer, who starts off with Clawitzer like he does in the real games. So let's take him out. Dual Wing Beat, and then he Muddy Waters me. Muddy Water kills Archeops as it critical hits. I'm going to instantly send out Toxapex, be able to take some moves off, get that Toxic up, set up some Toxic spikes so that he's no longer a threat to me, and take out the Clawitzer. Feeling quite confident and strong at this point in the game. I'm really enjoying it. Clawitzer has finally been taken down, and it's time for Starmie to come out. Starmie is a Pokemon he didn't have in his team, but I feel like would have really complemented him and his playstyle. But Clawitzer was really his ace and the only Pokemon that really stood a chance against anyone. Now, Greninja comes out. Did I expect to see a Greninja? Hell to the no, I didn't. Am I going to be able to take it out? Toxapex slowly but surely manages to take out this Greninja with Scald, and the fact that it is poisoned gives me that added benefit of damage every turn. Barbacle. Razor Shell comes out, but I do manage to do big damage with Scald, and then it starts to Shell Smash. Luckily, Toxic kills it, and they have their own Toxapex. I'm going to swap out here as, I don't want to do it Toxapex against Toxapex. It's not a very fun fight to watch. And Swampert, it's time for you to Earthquake their Toxapex to death and firm the poison. You confirm that, you're not going to go anywhere. And Araquanid, my favourite Pokemon in Gen 7 by far. One of my favourite Pokemon of all time. If I had to really pick, I would put him at number 2. Quite a strong number 2. And it is a really powerful Pokemon. Being bug type, which don't get much love in any generation, I feel like they need to make some more bug type Pokemon that can do a lot of damage. I mean, Beedrill having that Mega, Pinsir having that Mega, Heracross having that Mega, still is not enough for them to even compete as a typing against anyone. So we managed to take him out and take out the Araquanid and give me your money. It's time to move on to the Steel type Wickstrom. They did have really unique names in this gen, which was quite fun to play with. Klefki comes out. Now, I am quite scared of Steel types, as they can pretty much tank anything and everything. They are definitely the most tanky type and the best type in the game, if there's enough Pokemon in that gen. So, like, in some gens, it's not worth it. In some gens, it really is. Scizor, being an amazing Pokemon, does take out Archeops, unfortunately. It's time for Swampert to come out and try all the moves, meaning I tried Rock Slide and Liquidation and hoped for the best. We managed to get Sizzle so low. I'm going to keep Swampert alive with 30 HP, go into Metagross, tank that Iron Head, and manage to take out Sizzle with the big EQ, baby. Aegislash comes out, uses Shadow Sneak. I'm going to Earthquake and one-shot Aegislash as it wasn't in defensive mode. Skarmory, I didn't expect to see you. Meteor Mash does next to nothing, and it's time to swap out. I'm going to go straight in to Slowbro, as Slowbro is going to be my best bet here. And I do manage to get off some Psychics, but not enough to do any real damage to it. Slowbro does manage to scrape Skarmory's health and take it out. It's time for Bishop to come out. I didn't expect him to have a Bishop at all. No, because, I mean, it's not part of his gen and it's a really powerful Pokemon. We do manage to take it out and get him out of the team. Let's move on to the next gen. Gen 7, where things start to get interesting, as Gen 7 had some really strong type-ins as their Elite Four members, and we come up against their Dragon type instantly. What we're going to do against it, I have absolutely no idea. We fought a few Dragon type trainers on the way here, mainly the champions being Lance, being Cynthia, and being some of the original Elite Four members. They are all pretty strong, and I've still got PTSD from when Claire took us out several times, to the point where I had to skip Claire and move on to a different gym leader. Komomo comes out. Now I'm quite strong against Komomo, as I said. I've got Metagross and I've also got Slowbro now, so they could both do big boy damage. I do manage to take this Komomo out with Metagross. I mean, not with Metagross, because Metagross died as I didn't have any psychic moves on it, not enough to take it out. I'm going to send out Swampert, preserve my Slowbro as it is a tank. Swampert, what can you do? He has 3 Pokemon, I've only got 2 left. Luckily Swampert takes out Dragalge and Noivern comes out. I'm going to have to start using Rock Slide, as Noivern could do so much damage. He sets up the Tailwind, Rock Slide gets it low enough, Boom Burst almost kills me, but I make it a 1v2. Meaning I've got the upper hand here and it's time to die. Swampert died, I've got Slowbro left. What can I do against this Pokemon? Uses Vicious Run, takes out half my health, and the Quick Claw manages to get me the win and snap that up. And it's time to move on to the champion. The champion uses Fairy types. Now Fairy type is a scary typing, but she does start off with a Hulucha, which really confused me. I do manage to weaken it, but Hulucha does alternatively kill my Archeops, and it's time to move on. Toxapex gets off a Toxic Spikes, double Toxic Spikes, and then dies. So she's already starting with the upper hand, taking out 2 of my Pokemon, but I do have the Toxic Spike set up. I learned that from the last battle, almost losing. If I had Toxic Spikes, I would have won a lot easier and a lot quicker. I realised that she don't actually have Fairy types on her team in this game anyway, because she's using a mixture. Now champions don't have to have one type. I totally respect that, and champions shouldn't be limited as they are the champion, but I'm really stuck against what to do. They send out Tyrantrum. I'm going to go straight in for Draco Meteor, take that big boy out, as I don't really fancy fighting a massive T-Rex from back then. So Aurorus comes out. I'm going to send in Swampert, because Swampert definitely has the highest chance. Let's take it out with a big EQ, baby. Moving on to Goodra. Goodra could really do some big boy damage to me. I'm going to hopefully get off some liquidations, get off them defense lowered, as that's my only hope to take this out, alongside the poison. Just do some big boy damage. Come on Swampert, you know you could take out Goodra easily. He does get me to over half health though, but Goodra does faint, and it's time for her ace in the hole, Gardevoir. I managed to get the poison off and start weakening it with liquidation, lowering its defense and taking it out with Swampert. Swampert is a beast and has stayed on my team alongside Archeops. So give me your money and give me everything. Let's move on to the Aloha region. The Aloha region had so many cool trainers, Hala being one of them. I love the fact that he introduced us to things, and then also the fact that he was in the Elite Four and was a challenge that we had to fight. He was someone that actually put up quite a decent fight, not like his grandson who picked the weakest starter to us and just let us sweep him all the time. So yeah, pretty much Hallow was quite cool to fight, and I thought it was a cool addition to add Hop, I think his name is Hop's grandfather, into the game. Although using fighting type wasn't very strong against my Archeops, which manages to sweep through pretty much everything in this game, no matter what. I mean, dual wing beat literally taking out Hallow's entire team, and I got hit once. So Hallow, you was kind of weak this time, but I do have a lot of hope for you, and you was a nice Elite Four member. Moving on, after beating Hallow, we have to come up against the challenge. The challenge of this Malayan, who really was an odd trainer. You didn't really see too much of him, and he has steel types. As I said, steel types is the most defensive type in the game by far, and can do a hell of a lot of damage. Skarmory getting off some iron defenses, while I'm really trying to kill it with Stone Edge. Drill Peck comes out, don't do much, and I managed to scrape it with Stone Edge. Stone Edge wins. Sandslash comes out, and I'm like, nah, let's give it up a switch. Let's go into Hydreigon. Ice Ball comes out and don't do as much damage as I thought it would. I take out the Sandslash quite easily with a Flamethrower, and I'm going to proceed to use Flamethrower for the rest of this battle, as he sends out things like Durant, which can't tank a single fire move. And if you read the Pokedex entry of Durant, it don't make sense at all. Taking out Togedemaru and Mawile, Hydreigon reigns the champion of steel types, and give me your money. Give me your money. It's time to move on. Let's move on to Olivia, who had some rock type Pokemon, and it was really fun to fight against them, as not many people either had any strong things against rock. But I do have, again, Archeops with a big EQ, which can do a lot of damage, guys. I mean, we know it can do a lot of damage. It's carried me through the elite battles, it's carried me through the normal battles, and it could carry me through the ultra battles if you guys do want to see that. If you have made it this far in the video, which I'm hoping a lot of you have, if you haven't, that's absolutely fine, because you ain't even hearing me right now. But if you have, if you're one of the few that have made it this far, comment down below and comment Probopass is Rudolph. I want Probopass is Rudolph, and the first person to comment that, you will be able to be a part of my next video in a special way. I'm going to be doing some more color swaps, and if you guys haven't seen that, click the top link in the description of this video, because that will be linked to the color swaps. I made some custom shiny Pokemon, and if you made it to this part in the video, you've definitely watched that video, and I appreciate you for being a loyal person and watching and subscribing and doing everything to all of my videos. So comment that down below, and I'll know that you made it this far. And I just want to say a massive thank you, because I really appreciate it. I really do. So Lycanroc comes out. Lycanroc, do you stand a chance against Swampert? Hell to the no, you don't. Cradilly, let's see what I can do to you. I'm going to use an EQ and get you halfway. She does stockpile and get the defense, but I do manage to take it out with the poison, as it does also take out Swampert, unfortunately. So it's time to go into Hydreigon and take out the final Pokemon, Almado. It is now poisoned, and Dark Pulse does enough damage so I can take it out without dying. I am left on 2 HP though. It really could have taken me out, but it wasn't strong enough or fast enough. Give me your money. It's time to move on to the next Kahili, the flying type Elite 4 member. Are you going to stand a chance against me? I don't think you will, personally. I mean, the flying type isn't the strongest type, as we all know, but if you guys again have made it to this far in the video, you will be seeing some more videos coming out. There is a Pokemon server being worked on at this very point in time, and it's got very high potential. There will be a lot of teams in there, and you'll see a lot of videos me pumping them out left, right and center. I'm going to be grinding my backside off, but I do also have my daughter due at around the same time, so I'm hoping that I am going to be able to play some. let's see what happens. Let's see what we can do. I am a partner of the server, which I think it's finally time to announce that. I've not told anyone yet, but I thought it was time to tell you guys who have made it this far in the video, if anyone has made it this far. I know there's people like Knight, Skullslayer, and people that have made it this far, and I'm going to see their comments down below. So just know I appreciate you guys. And Gliscor comes out, my favourite Pokemon. Can I stand a chance against it? I'm just going to send up Swampert and Liquidation it. So when you guys see it got off a Guillotine and took out Swampert. What? Guillotine is a one-shot move. What the? And it takes out my Toxapex too. See, this is why Gliscor is the GOAT. Gliscor is a GOAT, man. I'm going to manage to take it out with Dark Pulse. Unfortunately, they wasn't trained in EVs and HP and special defense, which I will be. So don't even get any ideas on taking out my Gliscor in the Pokemon server, because it's going to be impossible. Gliscor is going to be a big beast. Taking out the Flying Elite 4 member, it is time to move on to the champion. Kakui! Who kind of has rock types, kind of has a bit of everything, kind of a mixture. He wasn't really the champion, he just really founded it, and I feel like there could have been a lot more to this story. So Kakui, it's time for me to 1v1 you and take you out officially. After Lycanroc, Magnezone comes out, and it also has Sturdy taking out my Archeops, which is unfortunate. I didn't want it to take out Archeops and I wanted to sweep it. Toxapex, I'm going to send you out and get off some Toxic Spikes, as I know that's going to come in handy soon. Take out Magnezone with Scald. Bravery comes out. And obviously it's a flying type, so I'm going to have to Toxic it personally because I want it to die pretty quickly, and I don't really think Toxic Spikes is going to affect it if it's up in the air. So it's time for Slowbro to come out. As its light screen has worn off, I can do some big boy damage, get off the Surf and manage to take out Bravery. Moving on to Ninetales. Ninetales, I didn't really expect to see a Ninetales on this team, and that was kind of a shock to me. Luckily Slowbro has got Surf, and that does some big damage to a Ninetales. I mean, we all know why. You guys don't need me to explain typings to you. Snorlax comes out. I'm gonna try and use Shell Sidearm, get a poison off, and I do manage to outspeed it and take it out. Incineroar is the final Pokemon. A Pokemon I did expect to see, is it was kind of Kukui's ace in the anime and in the game. Incineroar was quite strong, but I do manage to take it out with Slowbro. Give me your money. Moving on to the Gen 8, we have to fight Claria. As there wasn't really an Elite Four, there was, but there also wasn't. So we have to fight Clara, who is part of the Fighting Dojo Challenge. Now she is strong. Definitely a strong member, but not strong enough to be classed as an Elite Four member in my opinion. Her fairy types don't really stand much of a chance against me, but luckily she's not only fairy type. She does Destiny Bomb my Archeops to death, which is unfortunate. We do see that a lot in the Elite Four. Drapion, so she's not actually only fairy type. So Drapion comes out, I'm going to send off the Flamethrower, try and get off the big boy damage and take it out. It's time for Scolipede to come out. I'm going to Flamethrower that, take it out. It don't have speed boost and it double-edged itself to death. Toxtricity, same thing goes. You're going to get Flamethrowered and taken out. So I think she's got a poison team, which don't surprise me as she did have that in the game. So I don't even know why Fairy was in my head. Let's take out Slowbro with Draco Meteor. I'm pretty confident that Slowbro could have swept my team with poison. Amoonguss, I'm going to decide to switch out here. I've used Draco Meteor twice in a row. My special attack wouldn't have done anything to this Amoonguss, so it is time to see what I can do. I'm going to start Meteor Mashing, getting it to half HP. Solar Beam comes out and does nothing, but Meteor Mash does clean up and take it out. It does put Metagross to sleep though, unfortunately, but I won the battle. So give me your money. And it's time to move on to the next challenge, the Psychic type trainer Avery, who I can't even remember from the game, so it was kind of a shock to see this person. Orbeetle comes out instantly. Luckily it's not the Gigantamax form, as that is quite strong, but Archeops is pretty much going to be able to sweep through this team. I mean, they said Psychic and then turned out Rapidash, don't make any sense to me. Some of these teams don't, but as I said, the game is not an official game and there is room for mistakes. It is a human error. I mean, and Rapidash don't not fit in a team, it just don't fit in a team. Archeops gets hit, and we do manage to take out Slowking, luckily, because that could have been scary for me. Reuniclus comes out, and I'm going to go in for the dual wing beat, see how much I can do. I do get it to half HP, Psychic comes out, I'm going to EQ, not do too much, and get taken out with the Psychic. Reuniclus, I'm just going to send in Hydreigon and start Dark Pulsing her away. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Dark Pulse is strong enough to take out your entire team. I just had Archeops out first. Give me your money. It's time to move on to the next battle. Now this is against the Dojo Master Mustard, the person who trained Leon himself and gave him that Charmander. Mine Shell comes out. I'm gonna dual wing beat pretty much everything on the team. Luxray comes out. EQ isn't gonna do enough, and Wild Charge does take me out, unfortunately. I was thinking, where's the fire type in Luxray? Not fire type, but where is the fighting type in Luxray? But fair play to him, he is technically the champion of this. And Komomo comes out. I'm not trying to mess with any Komomo. It's time for me to Draco Meteor and then switch out into Swampert, because Swampert can take any hit. Rock Climb comes out. You're not going to do much to me. I'm going to go in for some Hammer Arms and manage to do some damage against this Lycanroc, but lowering my speed in the meantime. After Lycanroc, Mustard decides to send in Corviknight, which I'm going to go in for a Rock Slide, but I do die in the meantime, and Corviknight does damage itself, so perfect opportunity to send in Hydreigon and take it out with a Flamethrower. Because, I mean, Corviknight, you're not going to be able to survive anything, really, from any move. I'm just going to Flamethrower this Surfetch'd constantly and take it out. He used Final Gambit, which wasn't a smart option. Give me your money, Mustard. You're an old man, it's time to rob you. Peony. Now, this guy was added into the DLC in Scarlet and Violet, and he was quite cool. Someone to meet, someone to understand, and his story was really fun and enjoyable to play around with. So, Peony, you have your Steel types, I've got my Archeops, and then I've got Hydreigon with a Flamethrower. You're not going to stand too much of a chance against me personally, but you was fun to fight. Definitely a fun person to fight. Bronzong, it's time to take you out as well. Dark Pulse and Flamethrower sweep Peony's team. It's time to move on to Leon, the actual champion of the Galar region. Now, we know some Pokemon that Leon's going to have, including a Charizard. So I do want to keep some strong Pokemon like Swampert for the end game. Rhyperior does take out Archeops, unfortunately. And I decided to send in Swampert early game. Is that foreshadowing the fact that I could die and lose to Leon, the undefeated champion, until Ash came along? Dragapult comes out. One of the fastest and strongest Pokemon. I'm going to go into Toxapex, hopefully get off a setup, see what I can actually do against this Dragapult. It does keep on Dragon Rushing and it manages to take me out. I'm going to go in for a Surf, but it takes itself out with Double Edge, and Mr. Rhyme comes out. A Pokemon that I didn't expect to fight, as it wasn't on Leon's team and it's a strong Pokemon. Definitely has a lot of coverage. Seismitoad comes out. What can I do against Seismitoad? I've got 2 Pokemon left. Am I going to lose to Leon? I'm hoping not. Meteor Mash isn't doing enough damage at all. Earthquake manages to clutch up and kill Seismitoad. Charizard comes out. I'm totally lost here. I'm 1 against 1. It's Charizard against Hydreigon. I do manage to get off double Dark Pulse and take out Charizard. Thank you guys for watching it. If you did make it this far in the video, make sure to leave that like. Don't forget to leave a comment on exactly what I said. I don't want to say it again because the people that skipped to this part, you don't need to know what I said. You have to watch the whole video to know exactly what I said. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.